I'm Sydney Radka, and welcome to another edition of FLX Weekly here at FingerLakes1.com. It is May 19th, 2021, and we are live inside the FingerLakes1.com studio, where I'm joined by Jim Sinicropi and Robert Kurz. Kurz! I did it. I did it already. He's the owner of Watkins Glen Wine and Spirit, and he's here to talk all awesome things about Watkins Glen with us today. Our show is brought to you by Bottomless Brewing. Sunny days are back in the Finger Lakes, and so is live music. Bottomless Brewing is open right now from Thursdays to Sundays with plenty of outdoor and indoor seating. They have new beers on tap, and they like to remind people they are dog friendly, which is great. Some of their new beers they have are a Flip-Flops with Socks, it's called. It's a tasty, fruity, juicy IPA with a mango character and complex hops profile. It's on tap now, and you can head to their Facebook to check out some more of their new beers.
Live music and no masks. If
No
you're
masks.
vaccinated,
Yep.
starting today, no masks.
That's
except
crazy.
for certain places like hospitals, schools, and nursing homes. But in general, you're back to normal.
It's a
as
new
far
world.
As masks go.
Back to normal, I guess, if you would call it normal. But wow, it's just so weird to me that this is a thing now, that there's just no mask. It's going to be very interesting.
If you're vaccinated.
If you're
If
vaccinated.
you're not, you're
yes.
on your honor, I guess.
You're right. But anyways, welcome. We're so happy to have you
Hey,
here.
Bobby, thanks for coming
Well,
in.
thank you. I appreciate you having me on. I love it.
Now, some longtime viewers of Finger Lakes 1 may remember your name from seeing some pretty cool underwater photos of scuba diving in Seneca Lake. Pretty amazing stuff. We'll talk about that, but first we want to talk about your business and some history.
Yeah, I mean, you're just ingrained in the Watkins Glen area doing a million different things, but the business, this wine and spirits, is kind of new for you, correct?
Well, it will be 8 years in August.
I thought it was less than that. I thought it was only like a few years old, but
Well,
8 years.
Well,
You're like a
years go by
veteran
quick.
now.
They go by quick.
And you are located where in Watkins Glen?
100 North Franklin Street, next to the beautiful Harbor Hotel.
Next to the Harbor Hotel. And how has that been the past year, having the wine and spirits business?
Well, this year's been actually very, very good. People staying home. They learned that you can drink at home and eat dinner at home. I do feel bad for all the restaurants and the wineries because they've had to suffer and get through this, but. You know, it's going to end here soon. We're going to have our mask burning parties coming up.
Oh, yes. You better have alcohol then for those mask burning
Okay.
parties. And you started this store actually in memory of your parents, correct?
Yeah, we lost Mom in 2010, and it was November. It was horrible to melanoma cancer. Thank God for Cuca Comfort Care. They angels in disguise.
Yeah.
And my mom, one of the things she said to me, she goes, I want you to be happy, and I want you to keep going after your ideas and dreams. She goes, you're going to do something special. So after we lost Dad a year and a half later, I had the opportunity to purchase the old Chamber of Commerce building at 100 North Franklin. And after we sold my parents' house, I took my quarter, put a down payment. My friends and I went in, renovated.
Awesome.
With the help of the Senator's office, Senator O'Mara and Sarah, we were able to expedite the liquor license. I mean, we closed June 21st, and we were selling alcohol August 10th.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Anybody that's tried to get a liquor license knows that's a miracle.
But I had to do it. Mom asked me to do it. I says, I'll get it done.
And now it's thriving and doing great.
It was going good before the pandemic.
Right.
You know, and I've had some really good people working for me, and anyone that's ever worked at the store, they feel vested in the store. There's something special about this wine and spirits. And if you come inside and see it, you're going to see a lot of charisma. It's got a lot of charisma, murals, and my picture of my parents on a fireplace. We gave up some retail space just to have this fireplace with pictures of my family and friends.
Awesome.
So when people come in, I want them to feel at home and
Right.
feel welcome. And I just love dealing with the customers. I want them to go to the waterfalls. I want them to check out all these great ideas so they will come back and leave with a good taste and bring their friends and family.
Absolutely.
So it's a pretty interesting location, right at the south end of Seneca Lake, near the hotel. Which I stayed there overnight with my wife once when it first opened, just for something to do, something different, and it was great. It's just a great spot. Do you see a high percentage of tourists coming into your store, or?
I would say, yeah, I would say seven. Well, during the summertime, during the wintertime, a lot of locals. But even this winter, there was a lot of tourists. But yeah, it's a tourist town. Watkins Glen, for that little village, for the size of it, in my opinion, is the top tourist destination in the Finger Lakes for the size.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't compare it to Geneva or Canada because it's so much bigger.
Right.
The gorge.
Yeah.
The gorge brings so many people in. Well, we do so good down there. That's why we got $6 million to update the park.
Yeah, well, you have the gorge, obviously, and the fact that it's right on the south end of the lake, of Seneca Lake, very beautiful. But then there's events surrounding Watkins Glen that bring a lot of people in, whether they're, it's a concert venue. For instance, there was going to be a huge concert there from Fish a few years ago that got canceled because of some issues. But the racing, obviously, the vintage car race, the NASCAR races. But you're right. The amount of people that come to Watkins Glen in a year is amazing.
There's so much to do for everybody, and you could have 20 people, and each person could find something different to do.
Yep.
Right.
And they're going to come back. I'm telling you. I love talking to my customers. I want to get a feel. This last winter, or fall and winter, a lot of people from Long Island, New York City were coming in. They just wanted to get away from the rat race. They had cabin fever. And because they weren't going out to dinner and spending their money, they had money to spend. So once they came up here, they'd rent a cottage on the lake.
Yeah.
Or they'd go to the hotel. There's plenty of hotels, bed and breakfasts.
Yep.
And they're coming back.
Yeah.
Finger Lakes region this year, mark my word, is going to see an explosion of tourism.
Oh, I love that. You heard it here first.
I believe it. Certainly, like you said, a lot of people have been cooped up. And the pandemic in the city is different than the pandemic's been for up here. We can go outside and get space away from people. In the city, not so much, especially when you're relying on the mass transit, subways, busing.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't do it. I think it'd be a whole different experience.
So they're looking to escape, and they're not jumping on a plane. They're hopping in the car, and they're taking a 4 or 5 hour drive, and all of a sudden, to them, we live in paradise.
It's a gem. It's a gem. I've got friends from Louisiana that come up, and they go, we're bringing our wives up.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were doing work up here, and watch what happens. It's going to happen. We take it for granted sometimes.
Absolutely.
I think once we get a little older, you realize it.
Yeah.
But, we do take it for granted. We live in when we moved up from Long Island in '68, so when I was just a kid, my parents, my aunts, and my uncles would come up and visit the area, and they were just amazed by it. That was in the '60s and '70s. And then you see with all the wineries and breweries and cheese factories and the distilleries and everything is just
cider.
happening.
It keeps going. There's such a wild ecosystem of different types of businesses have been created. And you're right. We take it for granted. If you come from out of this area, you really believe that you're in a very special place.
Yeah, everyone does love it. And you do. So, besides the wine and spirits, I'm going to move into, because I feel like it's a perfect time. You said, before we even came on the show, you said once the party's over in the Finger Lakes area, you were also a very important person that helps clean up the lakes and the areas around the lakes. And I want you to talk about that, because that's something that's coming up, correct?
Yeah, well, for the last 2 years, actually, I'm spearheading Finger Lakes Cleanup. You can go on Facebook, like us on our Facebook page, Finger Lakes Cleanup. 2 years ago, 14 divers and I went into the village marina down by the hotel, and we cleaned up the marina and filled up a truckload of garbage and stuff.
Awesome.
The mayor, Luke, was down there. He brought the village truck with Scott, which was one of the village employees. There was a Saturday, and we just filled it up. So the next year was so successful, we did it again this year. We only had 8 divers show up because the water had turned. It was very cold, and that particular day was the 3rd Saturday of September. It was just so cold. The water in the air was 35 degrees, but we still got it done. But I also contacted the New York State Department of Transportation, and they sent emails out to their Adopt a Highway groups. And I was hoping to get all of them to collaborate and work on that particular day. They all do it different dates, but if we can all work together and get it on that same date, they had 9 crews go out that day.
Wow.
So you figure 2 miles, that's 18 miles of highway. And I had friends say, you pulled it off. I was driving to Corning, and there was all these people out there. So this year I'm going to send a letter to Senator O'Mara's office and see if he can send more emails out and get this to actually be an annual event.
Yeah.
The third Saturday of September every year. I want it to be Finger Lakes cleanup and let the world know and the country know that, we love our Finger Lakes and we're going
Right.
to clean it up after the big party.
Right. I just loved how you said that because it's true. Because everybody flocks here, especially they're on the lake more, and sometimes people don't appreciate the area that we have, and they make a mess. And it's great to have people like you that are here
Thank you.
and want to push that and keep the Finger Lakes as beautiful as it is.
So just to be clear, you put on the scuba gear, you go under the water, and you at the particular south end near the marina, you're cleaning up things that have fallen down to the lake bottom. So what are some of the weirder, different, stranger things you pulled out of there?
Oh, they pulled out a cart. If you go on our Facebook page, Finger Lakes Cleanup, you'll see the pictures.
Yep.
And the picture's 1,000 words. Last year, they brought in a cart. It was a homemade cart that people would use to take stuff out to their boat.
Oh,
It was made out of wood with bicycle tires, and it was just covered with zebra mussels. It was,
Oh, yeah.
But you should have seen them swimming it in. I think, what's wrong with these people? They're kicking and kicking. I didn't realize they had this big cart because it was all waterlogged.
Oh,
Right.
They
yeah.
brought that in. Casella donated a dumpster that day, too.
Oh.
Nice.
So thank you for the Casella for doing that and helping us out with that. You would think you'd find more cell phones, but they sink into the mud. But you'll get some of the people at the Marino say I dropped my glasses, and you'll find them for them.
That's crazy.
Really?
Most of it's bottles and cans. It's
Yeah.
just what happens is people walk on the rock pier out there, the
Right.
seawall, and they don't want to come in with something they might have drinking or it got blown into the water.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's mostly at, right by the edge there. And people are walking that every day, and you don't want them seeing cans and stuff in the
Sure,
water.
Of
and if
course.
so let's just say you hadn't started doing this, that stuff would just accumulate, I would assume.
Yeah, it's just going to be over years and years and years. People don't, unless you scuba dive or snorkel, you don't realize how much stuff is under the water.
Right.
Oh, absolutely not.
And when you do that, you don't have a bag with you. So when you see it, it's like, I'm going to come back and do that. And I've said that for years, and finally, I did it.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Did
well,
you-
that's a great service, without a doubt.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Did you have to go through the certifications and everything to become a professional scuba diver in order to do all this?
I have my SSI certificate, open water, with Mike Morehouse. He worked in the post office with me in Penn Yan, and he has a dive service on Bluff Point.
Awesome.
And so I've been doing it for years. I love to go to Cozumel, do underwater pictures.
Oh, yeah.
I just posted actually a picture on, even though it wasn't in the Finger Lakes, it's a gar pinfish that had swam through one of those six-pack holders, the plastic,
Oh,
and it's
really?
wrapped on. It's sad looking.
Yeah.
But you need to see that. So if you go to that site, you'll see that. And it was so frustrating because I couldn't save the fish.
Right.
Yeah,
I wanted to grab it, but it would have bit me or whatever, and it's just, this is the stuff that you see. But
And where was this?
This was in Cozumel.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I had to put it on there because,
Right,
look,
to remind
it's just
people.
say, that stuff causes problems. Now,
Absolutely.
we're going to have a lot of problems with masks here coming up soon.
True.
You
yeah,
watch what happens here, that's going to be a big problem.
I mean, I've seen, if you've noticed, just in parking lots, like in Walmart or something, you see masks all over the ground of people dropping stuff, and it's just
It's frustrating.
yeah, like pick
People
up
don't-
your garbage. Why is it that so hard? But
Now we get this Finger Lakes cleanup thing going. You watch, the young kids will get involved, and they'll be more acclimated into saying to people, "Hey, pick that up."
so is there like, are you trying to do a way where people can sign up to come and like help with this event? How are you gonna spearhead it this year?
Well, we'll have you guys help us out. We'll have the newspapers help us out, and it's going to be up to you.
Yeah.
You put your group. You have your group. Your fingerlakes1.com. We have a logo too on the page you can use if you want to make shirts up. You're welcome to use the logo.
Right.
Nice.
My friend Stacy Gray helped me do that and put that together. But once you know, I'm not going to hold anybody's hands. It's up to you to do
course.
it. So we do our scuba. We'll
Right.
have our group.
Right.
As far as the DOT, the Adopt a Highway groups, they do their own thing.
Of course,
You know,
yeah.
and they'll do theirs. That's going to be real big, the DOT, because
Yeah,
they do.
that's nice.
And what happens is you don't need dumpsters because the state picks it up.
Right? Oh,
And last year we had the Casella donate. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm just going to say, look, you pick up 2 bags of work, bring it back to your house.
yeah.
But you don't get thousands of bags. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So-
yeah.
And so it's going to be up to you. We're just going to present the date as the 3rd Saturday of September.
Gotcha.
And everybody get out there and do something. And you know what? If you can't physically do it, you can promote it on Facebook.
Of
You
course.
can sit home and tell your friends, like this page.
Yep.
You know, and
Share
we're
this
going to make it
post.
happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be big.
Awesome. I know it's going to happen just because you already had such success. Why not keep on growing it each
it's
year?
It's an easy sell.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You sit in a nice clean car.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into a nice clean house. Mm-hmm. You walk in, you look at your beautiful yard. You just mowed and your bushes are clean. It gives you a nice feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It helps you live longer too when
Yeah.
you feel like that. So when you're driving down the road and you see that crap on the road, it's frustrating.
Right.
Especially like down in the cities and stuff. I know
Oh,
you ever go down there,
jeez.
it's just terrible.
Yeah.
One of the worst spots for garbage is the when you get off the main highway, the loops or whatever you call those things.
In New York City?
No, down here upstate. If you're like on 86 by, let's say,
Oh, yeah, one of the exit ramps.
The ramps, the
Yeah.
ramps.
What are they? I
Oh,
hate
people
those
throw
things.
stuff out all the time.
Yeah.
What was it? Dave Lausch, the real estate agent down in Watkins, he goes, that's what they go to clean up. They have his office. They go on, they clean that up. He goes, Bobby, you couldn't believe the amount of bags that we
yeah.
picked up just in that area.
Right.
Because think about it. You're getting off, you're throwing that can out.
Ugh.
You know, it's just, I don't know, for some reason, it's like a garbage can.
Well, you're not going to throw it out the window when you're going 70 miles an hour down
No,
the
it's when you're
thruway,
slowing
but when
down.
you're slowing down and getting off, yeah.
That's, I'm telling you. So
It's a very selfish thing to do,
Right.
that type of littering. It's kind of crazy.
you know what, though? We're all guilty.
Sure.
I don't care who you are, you're all guilty. We're all guilty.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you
So
what.
do your part.
One of the things with the cans, and I feel bad about it now, and that's what helped get me to do this, was my brother and I would sneak cans of beer out when we were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't going to bring them home and say, hey, Dad, check out what we got.
Check out all them
No, it was
cans.
disposed of, and it wasn't disposed of correctly. And I've always felt bad about that. So,
Sure.
you know, hey, it's up to everybody. So just the date will be the third Saturday of September, and if you want to sit home and watch cartoons, that's up to you. But most people are going to go out and make a difference.
I love that. And so aside from that, that's like one of your bigger projects. I liked the thing we talked about. You do something called Hot Dogs for Dogs.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
tell me a little bit about that?
Well, not last year because of the corona, but
well,
the year
yeah.
before that, during the vintage race down in Watkins, once the place is a madhouse with people, I got a permit to put my hot dog stand in front of my store and sell hot dogs for dogs. And what that means is we were raising money for the Humane Society.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we in 2 days we raised $540.
Well, that's a lot of hot dogs.
right.
Yeah, my friends from Bleachers got me the hot dogs and rolls at cost.
Okay.
And in fact, the umbrella I got was a Salem's hot dog umbrella from the racetrack, because that's what they promote, and they love my idea so much. They said next year we're going to buy you the hot dogs and rolls.
Oh,
great.
that's
That'll
awesome.
be their donation, because they know I'm sitting out front there for 8 hours or 2 days, or 16 hours. If
Right.
you make $540 in 16 hours, I think that's pretty good.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and
every
I'm
little
sure
bit
they
counts.
appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Humane Society love us at the store.
That's great.
You
So,
know.
so you just like all around, you just do so great for your community.
He filmed an independent movie. When was that? 2009?
2009, we had our independent movie Diverters at the Smith Opera House. My mom was still alive, thank God. She just had a heart operation, and the 23rd was her birthday, so it was a big day.
Aw.
And everybody, not everybody, but a few people came up and warned me, don't be upset if not a lot of people come. I know you're all psyched and everything. I says, no, this is for charity.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I know it's one thing about the Finger Lakes. People come out for charities, and we had almost 800 people coming to
Wow.
that theater. And we had four charities that we donated to. Was Humane Society, ARC, Camp Good Days, and Kuka Comfort Care. And we raised, with the ticket sales and stuff, about $4,000. So
That's awesome.
Is that movie available anywhere now?
I still have DVDs, but if the concept of the movie Diverters, which I'm going to give you in a second here, you go on YouTube and type in Diverters movie, and it's a 10 minutes clip, but it's filmed up at Bob Pickney's observatory up on the bluff. He has one of the largest privately owned telescopes on the East Coast.
Oh,
Oh
really?
wow.
And he was the only real actor in the movie.
Well, we need to get him in. I didn't
Yeah,
know
we
that.
should.
Oh, it's amazing, and this thing's you'll see the telescope in the video, and so the concept of the movie, and now that we're having these UFO things on television,
Right.
because they're being all exposed. diverters, for 65 million years, we've never been annihilated by another meteorite. There's got to be a reason behind it. Well, the diverters were there, and they were just pushing and diverting.
Oh,
the
like
comets.
aliens?
Yeah, and they're just keeping it from the
working
path
on
of
our
the
behalf?
Earth. Oh, yeah. And
Wow.
That's
but,
pretty interesting
but
concept.
1947, there was a crash in Roswell, New Mexico, and the 3 ranchers approached it, and these aliens were near death.
Oh, no.
And they had to hand the responsibility to human beings.
Oh, geez. And that's when life went
So
downhill.
they were the diverters.
So they turned into the diverters. But
Okay.
1947, 30 years later, they handed it off in 77. And then our movie was 2007 when they were handing it off to my friend Kevin, my brother Neil, and I, which we all worked for the post office at the time, the most reliable people on the planet. The whole crowd loved that when they said that.
Sleet, snore, hail.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, so the concept of the movie is, and you got to think, boy, we're going to get hit. We get hit by meteorites every single day. They're just
Yeah,
too small.
just little.
These
Right.
are the facts. It's going to probably happen someday, and it'll be our demise. That's why they're looking to get on Mars and stuff like that.
Wow, that sounds really interesting, actually. And I love that, like, you do so many different things. Like, you said you're a post office, you're working and cleaning up the lakes, and then you're making movies on the side, too. Like, I think that's an awesome way to live life. You're just doing whatever you want to do.
It's fun to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your ways, help a lot of other people
Yeah.
and also have a successful business in the process.
If you could knock a whole flock of birds down with one stone, you know, you
Yeah.
clean up, you promote your family. You know, when you do this cleaning too, though, you're representing your parents and your family and friends.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because my parents did a great job bringing my siblings and I up.
Of course.
And you know, and when Mom asked me to keep going after my ideas and dreams, I couldn't let her down, like we said earlier.
Right.
So I represent my mom and dad, and I always say on Facebook, keep making them proud.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, and I'm just glad that you're able to come in and talk to us about
Oh,
just
yeah,
some
loving
of these few things that
What else
you
did
have
you
gone
got?
and dealt with.
So you're a part of the DRI process for the Watkins Glen
Yeah,
wine and spirits?
Yeah, what happened down there, we got, I think, it was like 2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
and you have to go through a process. You have to fill an
Yeah,
application
that's what's
out.
happening in Seneca Falls now. Of
Yeah.
course, the pandemic kind of sidelined it, but it's getting back. Kathy Hochul, the lieutenant governor, was here
Yeah.
last week, and she announced
Yep.
the award winners. So we're back on track in Seneca Falls in terms of that. But you've been through the process already.
Yeah, and there's like, I kept mine under 10 grand. Because what we did with my place is we painted over the mural, which
Oh, yeah.
some people weren't happy about. But the place looks immaculate. We put gooseneck lights up, all LED lights, and 2 brand new windows. And the reason I kept it under 10,000, because once you go over 10,000, there's other stipulations you have to deal with. You have to get drawings done, which could be very costly.
Yeah.
But like Captain Bill's down there. Oh my God, the place is all brand new. I don't know if you've been down there, but
I haven't seen it.
well, you know, it used to be a ship.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
it's a beautiful, and not that say that look bad,
Yeah,
but
it's right on
it's more
that. It's
modern.
right as you're driving through downtown, heading north through down to Watkins Glen. You almost would run into it if you didn't.
Oh.
Yes, if you didn't.
Okay.
And they said they even moved a little bit so you could see the lake as they come down.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, so let's see what we were talking about, the DRI grant
Yeah.
and the process of getting it, and yeah, so you have to be okayed. You
Right.
go through you don't just get it because you want it.
Right.
You have
Right.
to you have to justify why do you want it and how is it going to make the town better.
Yeah, yeah, and they have to then decide maybe some people who's you know this project might get it, but this project won't.
Yeah, there's hurt
so it's
feelings.
a competition
Oh,
a little
absolutely.
bit.
And you're not going to make everybody happy.
Right.
Someone's going to bitch and complain about something. Well, they
You're
always
right.
do.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Absolutely.
like, why is that getting done? Why isn't that getting done? And, you know, but it is what it is. Life's not fair sometimes.
True.
No.
But it is, you know, but we were lucky to get it, and you know, actually the VFW next to me, the hotel bought, and they're going to turn that into the gym,
Oh, okay.
and they're going to have apartments upstairs.
Nice. I'm sure they're glad that they gave you a grant because you seem to be doing so well with
Oh,
it.
they thank me a lot.
Yeah.
I have Michael Printup, from the president of the racetrack. He came up to me at the bar at the hotel. He goes, "I want to thank you for making our town look so nice."
Oh, that's
Right
great.
there,
Yeah.
it hits you right at the heart. It's
Of
like, you know,
course.
people recognize it and stuff. So
Right.
So what is the status of things at Watkins Glen International right now in terms of there's races this summer, correct?
yeah, as far as I know, they're going to have their race.
Yeah.
They took it last year. They had it down in Daytona,
Right.
Yep.
and that hurt things. But
Yeah.
Of course.
but you know what? When you have the race down there, people say, "Well, where are these 100,000 people?" Well, they're up to camping. They're not in
Oh,
the
yeah.
streets.
Yeah.
They
right.
even have a curfew. They say you can't be out to it. You have to stay at the campgrounds because Well, think what Seneca Falls would look like. We had 100,000 people
Yeah,
running
that's
around.
crazy.
It would go nuts, you know.
We'd love it.
But yeah, the racetrack, and of course, you know, I've talked to Mike in the past about you can get some more concerts in there.
Of course.
You know, it's such a great venue and backdrop and a place to have these wonderful things. And like you said, the Fish concert was canceled, but that doesn't mean so. Oh, and the other thing was canceled was the Woodstock.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They tried to have that there, and that was
Jeez,
going to
that
be.
was back and
It's
forth.
disappointing. Now, do you think there's got to be some sort of a split between the community in Watkins Glen of people that love and embrace those events and those that say, stay away, we don't want to disrupt our lives? Like, what's that like?
You're right. I have people, they don't want nothing to do with it. But like I say, the people stay up there. A lot of people prosper. They put the firewood out front. If anyone lives by the track, they make firewood makes a lot of money.
Of course.
And then the vendors that are up there, they're making that's half their salary for the year when they have these events.
Yeah, right.
But once again, you can't make everybody happy. There's always something that, you know. The traffic down there is bad to begin with.
Right.
Because you have that one road going there.
One way in and one way out.
You know, and if you know the tricks, you go down Decatur Street. You have to do a couple stop signs, but it runs parallel with it. And then you just come back onto the main drag. But yeah, to get for 1 mile driving, it takes about 10, 15 minutes to get from one end
God
to the other.
forbid, you know, those people should never go into a city if they can't handle that. And I get it, they're used to their ways, but they should be happy for what it's bringing to your town.
I can tell you, tourism traffic sucks. There's no other way of saying it, but the revenue that brings in, and that's why we get the grants for the parks.
Sure.
That's why our roads are getting taken care of.
Yeah,
And bridges. They recognize that.
And
they
why
know
there's thriving businesses available for the residents to enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do a lot of people say, okay, it's race weekend, we're going on vacation, we're going to New Hampshire, we're out of here for that weekend. Do a lot of residents just like leave the area during that weekend?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to take a poll in your store. Be like, are you staying for the race or not?
Some people do leave for the race, I can say.
I'm sure.
But just to change it up a little bit, I have a world map at the store. Because I wanted to let you know the people from all over the country and all over the world come
So
through
you
this.
mark where they come from.
And they put a star on the...
I've seen those at some wineries, and it is amazing.
I love them.
It is amazing.
Well, you know
Whether
what
it's England, Australia, New Zealand, I mean, China, Japan, everywhere.
Australia,
Germany,
New Zealand. And you know, when we first opened, it was 3 months in, I couldn't get over it. So that's when I put the map up. But the map's against this concrete wall, so we could use the little stars.
Right.
Now, the little stars, it's tattooed to our memory banks. They're nice because when you were in elementary school and you did good on a test, you got a star. They did that through the whole world. So they're smiling. These people, and why they come through is they're on tour of the United States. They're going to Washington, they're going to New York City, and they're on their way to Niagara Falls.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And and the Finger Lakes is a hot spot to stop for the night. Because there's, once again, you could, that bus unloads, they can all go in different directions and find something to do.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
I think everything.
Yeah, we see the same thing, in
It's okay.
in Seneca Falls, where the buses are coming through, they pull up, everybody gets out, a couple hours later they get back on the bus and off they go.
Yeah.
They're going to the Women's Hall of Fame, they're going to get lunch, they're going to the Wonderful Life Museum, they're going hanging out by the water. So yeah, I just think sometimes residents of towns like Watkins Glen or Seneca Falls might not notice the volume,
And it's all bringing money in.
Right.
You always remember that when you see that license plate or something, they go, well, they got to come up here for. It's revenue coming in the area, and it really does make a big difference. It helps our elected officials to get grants and get the money they need to do things because you can justify it. Like I said, the state park got $6 million to update it.
Yeah.
They didn't do it because no one shows up.
Right. Yeah. They didn't just throw money at it. That was for a reason. So yeah, definitely tourism big part, and coming out of the pandemic, should have a great summer.
Speaking of great summer, I need you to let me know, have we finally turned that corner, and are we on to better, sunnier days like Bottomless Brewing things?
Well,
I
don't know if we turned the corner. It's not even Memorial Day yet, but I tell you what, you're gonna get your first taste of summer this weekend.
We are? Yay.
Yep, Friday, slight chance of showers in the late afternoon and evening, more like thunderstorms because it's going to be hot, partly sunny with a high near 86 on those hot summer days. You get potentially some thunderstorms. Heading into Saturday, chance of showers with thunderstorms also possible after 2 p.m. Mostly cloudy with a high near 80. And then Sunday, same thing, chance of showers with thunderstorms after 2 p.m., but otherwise partly sunny with a high near 80. Back to work Monday, cools down a little bit with a high of 71, which is not too shabby, and a lot of sun. So, if you hopefully you've gotten out, got your yards, opened your pools, all that stuff, and now you can actually enjoy the weekend here.
Right.
Which I should mention, I am devastated because I have a 50-year-old pool. It's a gunite pool, concrete, but it's literally 50 years old, 51 years old, I think now.
That's crazy.
And we put a new patio in this year, and we got some new furniture, and I got the pool set and fired up the pump, and then I come out like a couple hours later, and there's water in my yard, like everywhere. So there's a leak underground. Because the PVC pipes that are 5 feet under the ground are 51 years old too.
Right.
Geez.
So I don't know what I'm going to do. It's hard to find someone to come. I called people, and then they're like, well, we don't do that. I think that what's going to happen is I'm going to leave work a little early today. I'm going to grab a shovel. I'm going to start digging.
That's scary. That could go really bad.
It's devastating, honestly.
Especially right now. Now it's like the worst time for this to happen. Like, you couldn't have found this a few months ago when it was freezing, but how would you know?
Yeah.
And you don't know where to start either, do you? Or do you have a kind
Well,
of
luckily,
a
when we were putting in the patio, they had to excavate part of the pool. We did this in the fall. And so when they took the pool out, oddly enough, the concrete walls of the pool are about this thick. I'm getting in the camera here. About that thick. And I thought that, the jet is here, and I thought that there would be a pipe going through the concrete into the jet. But it doesn't work like that. There's a 90-degree angle, and the pipe goes inside the concrete wall.
What?
So that's fortunate, I believe, because I don't think the leak's coming from there. So it all ends up, there's about a 10-foot stretch between the skimmer and the pump, the filter, and that's where I'm going to dig, because that's where most of the pipes are. I think everything else is actually inside the concrete, so I might be lucky.
I'm going to pray for you that is the right spot to dig.
I'm particularly well suited for this job too, because as a youth I worked at the Seneca Lake Country Club on the greens crew for age 14 to 25, and one thing that I learned to do was to dig up irrigation leaks and splice the PVC pipes. I must have done 100 of them probably.
Wow.
All right, then you got this. No problem.
I don't know if I got it, but at least I know.
At least you know what you're up against.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, you'll have to give us an update on that and find out when it happens. But we are unfortunately out of time. I just loved hearing so many cool stories and things that you do for the Watkins Glen area. I think it's great. I think everybody should join in on your Finger Lakes cleanup. What's the Facebook one more time?
It's Finger Lakes Cleanup.
Okay.
We gotta have you back in September, either before or after probably before the event would be a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll get out. We'll get on the news, and we'll it'll be good news. It's so much bad on the media. There's so many bad things going on in the world. It's nice to see something nice going on.
Yeah, you do a great job. I think you're going to continue to do a good job. I love to see this grow every year, and we're really glad that you came on.
Thanks for coming in, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I love this stuff. I love it.
Yeah, it was so much fun. We're definitely going to have you back. We want to thank everybody, of course, for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show, you can click like, you can share with your friends, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and until then, we'll be back next Wednesday. Enjoy the first summery weekend here in the Finger Lakes.